Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our presentation tonight. This is so exciting, and I'm so excited that you've made this time to come to this presentation and find out more about how you can change your life in just 2 to 5 years. This one decision can change your life, and I'm really excited to introduce to you tonight Simon Cryer, Silver Presidential with Manatech. He has been Associate of the Year twice, and he's also in the Millionaires Club, which is a great honour to be part of. And we are just so privileged to have Simon on tonight, someone of his calibre, sharing this presentation with us. So before we get started, I'll just make sure that you all know where your hand button is. So there's a little button on your GoToWebinar panel, and if you hit that hand button, that's awesome, fantastic. And you can also send a message, send a chat message or a question, and one of our admins will answer you back. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Simon Cryer, Silver Presidential with Manatech. Thank you, Simon.
Hey, thanks so much, Naomi. It's an honour to be here, and I'm excited to be able to present. It was kind of like a last-minute thing, and but I'm going to give it my best shot today. And I'm pumped actually. We've got so much stuff happening in our community right now in terms of our business. There's some fun stuff, there's some strategic stuff, and there's some systemized stuff too that we're rolling out. And so it's a really good time to be a part of our company. Lots happening. I've had a crazy busy flat out day. I don't know if you guys have had a busy day today. Just let me see a show of hands. So I know that, hey, we at least have that in common. Let me see any hands. Okay, cool. I'm seeing hands go up everywhere. That's awesome. Well, want to give you a message tonight that literally could change the course of your life, as it did for myself and as it's done for many people that I've had the good fortune of working with. So it's just been a privilege to be part of this company. And I'm excited about it. And so what I want to tell you is first of all, before I got started with Manatech, I'd been broke for the first 10 years of our marriage, and things got so bad that it took one Christmas day for my wife to say to me, hey, listen, if I can't do this anymore. This is on Christmas morning. I can't do a repeat of the last 10 years, year after year. I can't live another kind of like Groundhog Day year like a repeat of the last decade. So things have got to change. And it was around about that time that you can see this guy in the middle. By the way, this picture here is some of our awards nights, some of the events that we have, some of the training, some of the incentives. This was a fancy dress night right in the top middle. The guy who's dressed as Woody is my first ever business partner, and it was around about the lowest ebb in my life, professionally and personally, relationship-wise, and just emotionally. It was the lowest point of my whole life. That's where this guy, Woody, came in, and his name's James Hannon. He's one of the millionaires with our company. But he wasn't back then. He was just a regular sort of guy. He said, hey, listen, I want you to check this out. Come on to a call like we're doing tonight. Come onto a webinar like we're doing tonight. Let me give you some information and share some stuff that can make a difference for you. And I was a little bit skeptical, to be honest, and you might have some questions too, and that's cool. But we just want to show you sort of the way that I had to look at it, and the way that James had to look at it, and the way that we have presented this to people all over the world that's changed the course of their life. And I'll tell you right now that, even though with a fair, healthy amount of skepticism, someone like me got to a point where, look, you know what, I've got nothing better else going on in my life, and I may as well give this a shot. I remember I got myself my first ever business mentor, who was a millionaire at our church, and he was the one who said, hey, this company and this profession is something that you want to be a part of. So he was a millionaire. I was like, oh, that's good enough for me. Success leaves clues, right? So I just followed his advice. I joined with James, and we got started. Our first 3 months in business, we made about $3,000, and by 6 months we were on an extra 20 grand a year, which was amazing. And at the time, my full-time job was only paying me about 15 grand a year. So here I was making an extra 20 grand a year part-time. I thought that was a pretty good deal. And I actually honestly didn't think change like that would happen for someone like me. Well, within 9 months' time, we were making about 50 grand a year part-time, and at the end of 13 months, we were making $130,000 a year. Our income from Manatech business and my job. Then in the second year, actually created like 200 grand's worth of income, and it's like amazing stuff. And I never thought someone like me would actually earn 100 grand. Matter of fact, when we earn $1,000 a month, that radically changed the course of our life. And so I just want to share with you, this is where we came from. And you know what, we've raised up several people in our business on our team, and you can see a bunch of people in our community taking out awards, some of the guys from my team here. It's just fun, man. The travel, being out of debt, being financially free, and seeing other people, being able to help people and roll out a step-by-step, paint-by-number system. It's pretty cool. So I want to share my story with you, not to impress you, but just to impress upon you the significance of what you're about to see, because this could happen to you. And how do I know that? Because it happened to me. All right, so you're just one decision away could literally change your life and change the world. And I'm going to unpack that idea for you a little bit later on the call. This call tonight really is a guide to business ownership. And the question is, what if in 2 to 5 years' time, let's say, gosh, you got a college education, and it'll cost you about 100 grand to get a college education, and that's just to get some experience, right? You don't earn any money in that 4-year degree. Maybe you start in year 4 or year 5, but what if in 2 to 5 years' time we could show you a system, and let's say it took you maybe, I don't know, 12 months to get your head around the system. It's not a complicated system, it's very simple. But let's say it took you 12 months to get a handle on it, and then it took you another 12 months to get good at some very basic skills. And so what if in that 2 to 5 year time, if money were no object for you, what would your life look like? If money were no object, what would you spend your time doing? Who would you spend your time with? Where would you travel? Let me just have a show of hands. Who here would travel a little bit more, right? It'd be interesting to know. Man, I would love to know where you guys would like to travel. Who here would want to spend time with their kids? I mean, my wife said to me back, over a decade ago, we can't afford to have kids, because I was earning $300 a week. She was working at a full-time job, but we honestly, you could not afford to pull her out of the workforce to be a mum. That's awful. And so this business actually gave us the opportunity to be engaged, and as a dad, for me to be able to see both of my kids take their first steps. It was cool. And time freedom, I mean, I know what it's like for me. It means that, I can see a swimming carnival for my kids. I can see a sports day, or I can see a play recital or a band practice. Yesterday I was at a cooking class with my daughter and her kids, and she said I was a little bit over the top because she's 11 years old now, and it's like, Dad, stop trying so hard to be cool, because that's over the top. But I can do that, and there's so many dads that can't do that. But what would your life look like if money and time were not an object? If that was no big deal for you, what sort of things would you do in terms of a sense of contribution? How would you give back? What church or what charity would you give to? I'm sure there's probably something. What country is on your heart to make a difference in? I mean, I know we do some stuff in the nation of India because, man, we help out an orphanage there which has like 280 boys whose parents have all been martyred for, being evangelists and handing out Bibles, and they all got killed. So we help in this orphanage, and it just makes our heart sing to do that. But we're able to do that because money gives you options. It's not everything, but it can certainly free you up to start living life on your terms. Okay, so this is the guide of how to do that. I'm excited to share it with you. The challenges, and these are figures from the US, and I've just got back like a year and a half ago. I was living in the US, took my whole family over there, and we lived over there for 4.5 years. Why? Because we could. That's what money gives you. It gives you options. Okay, so I'll tell you that I used to be a financial planner, and these statistics that I'm quoting from the US are very, very similar to Australia here. This is an international call. We have people from all over the globe dialing in tonight, so it's kind of cool. But here's the deal in America, and it's not too dissimilar here in Australia as well, that 35% of people have debts, okay, reported to debt collection agencies. That's a big deal. And in Australia, when I was a financial planner, I knew the statistics that, if people earn just an extra $300 a month, listen to me on this one, an extra $300 a month would stop and prevent 90% of people filing for bankruptcy. Isn't that amazing? Just what an extra $300 a month can do. I'll show you how to really easily generate that, okay, by the end of this call. Here's the thing in the US, and it's similar to the Australia, 58% of retirees have less than 25 grand saved in their account. I think in Australia it's about $30,000 saved. By age 65, the average income in the US is just under $30,000. That's exactly the same here. That's like mirror image over here in Australia. And here's the scary thing. You know what? Let me just say this is the US. It's kind of typical, all right? And, you know, I know we have a huge team in Singapore, and here's why I mentioned Singapore. In the US, about 50% of people who are asked in a Morgan Gallup poll, like, how are you going to retire? You know what they said? They said, oh, we want to retire on the lotto. 50% of people plan to retire on the lotto. Now, we gamble fairly aggressively here in Australia, and even more so in Singapore, if you're listening in Singapore. But the chances of, man, winning the lotto are, I'm sure you've seen the horror stories of people who actually win. It's scary stuff. But the chance, you've got like 3 times the chance of getting struck by lightning. So it's probably not a good idea to join that 50% of people who are planning, use that term loosely, to retire on the lotto, all right? And that's why. And if you're under the age of 21, here's the thing. If you want something stable, the stats are that you're going to have 12 to 15 jobs in your lifetime. And the average worker holds 10 jobs by the age of 40. The average cost of a 4-year degree is approximately $100,000, right? So I'm going to show you how you don't have to spend $100,000 to get paid a professional level of income. So you're in the right place at the right time if you'd like to earn some more income, and if you'd like to have a bit more security in your life. These are pretty sobering sort of statistics. And I remember when I worked as a licensed financial planner, you know, it was often my job to you know, have this honest conversation with my clients. Some of them I couldn't even help because they left it too late. But I'm here to tell you that this is not about investing. This is about actually getting something working for you, putting you in a business which has a really good chance of success, which has a proven system. The only thing that's on trial is possibly you and how hard you want to work, okay? So that's the only variable here, but I'm going to teach you a little bit more about it as well. Here's the thing too, we live in uncertain times, and the only thing that's certain is the uncertainty. And the whole workforce is looking at turning upside down, with a half of all employment on the planet today disappearing in the next 15 years. This here says the world is going to be turned upside down. Half the employment is going to be gone by 2030. That's 15 years away from the Da Vinci Institute. You know, incredible stuff. This is not me saying this. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the media in terms of robots, but you know, the future is here. There's robots right now that they've programmed to flip burgers at McDonald's. Isn't that weird? That whole McDonald's industry was designed to create leverage off their staff, and they wanted to, you know, industrialize things, and they wanted to pay their employees less money by breaking up their tasks, kind of like what Henry Ford did, by just breaking up their tasks and just you doing simple stuff, you doing flipping burgers, you just squirting tomato sauce on the burgers, you just wrap the burgers, okay? So just one job for one person. And here's the natural progression of that is they have robots right now that are flipping burgers, right? They will have robots very shortly wrapping the burgers, right? So it's a fast-paced world, and right now there is a lot of robotics happening. In the future, man, here, check this out. Between 2011 and 2012, employments of robots was up 40% worldwide. Kind of scary, right? And check it out too. Like already, the general-purpose robots cost not much more than a year's worth of minimum wage salary. That's a big deal. Right? So here's the thing, you know, we often train this with our teams. It's like, you know, usually on the left you have a dream circle, and this is what your life would, you know, if you would like to live a higher life, where would you travel, what sort of car would you have here on the top right, what sort of house would you have, where would you vacation, and it's like, man, that's cool. So we have this dream circle, which is massive because we're putting a boat in there and we're putting, hey, we want to take our friends along. Oh, we want, you know, let's bring in that contribution. Let's put some charities in there too. And that's great. And then, so we've got this massive circle on the left, and then we have our income circle, which is, it's like a dot, okay? Now, there's 2 choices you have. Now, the first choice is
the most common choice, which is to shrink our dreams to fit our income. All right, and we say, you know what, Paris, are you serious? You know what, why don't we just go to the bakery? We'll just go to Brumby's Bakery, which, by the way, is an Australian bakery. We'll just get a French stick and some pate, and we'll turn on the travel channel. We don't need to travel to Paris. Like, really, a boat? Are you serious? There's no way we're going to be able to afford a $600,000 boat. It's never going to happen. We've got the tinny, you know what I mean? So we start shrinking our dreams. And charity, man, they say charity starts at home, and we've got our own problems here. You know, our life of contribution is OVER, over. There's just not possible, right? So we start shrinking back and allowing us to get confined by our income. And the other choice is a better choice. It's like, hey, you know what? There are dreams which are put in you for a purpose. There are dreams which are put in you to have you come alive. There are dreams put in you so that you can live life and have contribution, have time with your family, and have travel. Why not you? There's plenty of other people doing it. Why not you? But you're only one decision away from maybe doing that and one commitment away from following through on that. And the way to do that is to not shrink your dreams, but to grow your income. Here's what Robert Kiyosaki says: it's more important to grow your income than to cut your expenses. It's more important to grow your spirit and your attitude than to cut your dreams. Isn't that awesome? I'll tell you a bit later exactly who Robert Kiyosaki is. Actually, I'll tell you right now. He's the author of the book called Cash Flow Quadrant. Just a show of hands, how many people here have read the book Cash Flow Quadrant? There's probably some of you who haven't even heard of it. Well, I'll give you a bit of an idea. Robert Kiyosaki, he's only sold 25 million of these books, the Cash Flow Quadrant, okay? It was only the New York Times bestseller for 6 consecutive years. Okay, you want to hear what the theory is? The theory is he's got these 4 quadrants, and you'll find yourself in one or more of these quadrants. The first one here is the E quadrant, which stands for employees, and these are the people who have a job. Maybe that's you on the call. Maybe you have a job. Okay, now then if you move down on the left side to the S, that's the self-employee. All right, sorry, self-employed. So E is you have a job, and S is self-employed. Maybe the job has you, meaning that if you stop working, guess what happens to your income? That stops too. Okay, so he's saying that the secret of the cash flow quadrant is move from the left side to the right side, where you are a business owner. Top right here, that's the B quadrant. Okay, so this is not self-employed, this is a big business, like lots of people involved, okay? So what I'm talking to you about is a big business system, okay? So this is how we can transfer you from the left side, and the left side, by the way, is where 90% of the people are and where 10% of the wealth is. And on the right side, where the B quadrant is for the business owner and the B and the I quadrant for the ultimate goal, which is the investor, that's where only 10% of people are, but that 10% controls 90% of the wealth. Isn't that interesting? Some of you guys are thinking, wow, I never thought of it like that. This alone could literally change the way you think, and the way you think can determine the questions you ask, and the questions that you ask, like Tony Robbins says, determines the destiny of your life. So this is cool, right? Robert Kiyosaki is really a champion and advocate for our profession. Check this out. He says, the number one way to increase your wealth, don't get a second job or a third job, start a part-time business. And here's what we're talking to you about on this webinar, okay? Cool stuff. So here's a simple thing. You know, I was, like I said, living in the US, and I can give you some statistics from some people who had conversations with some of these big chain franchises, for example. And the traditional way is a traditional business is you've got a manufacturer, you've got a bunch of middlemen here, and you've got the retail, and then finally it gets to you, okay, as the end user. Now, we turn that all upside down, and we say, hey, let's make this more efficient. You know, let's understand the leverage of the recommendations that you have with friends. Check out the statistic down here. 78% of people trust recommendations from their friends. Isn't that interesting? Versus only 14% of people from advertising who trust advertising, right? So we thought, you know, the pioneers of our profession thought, hey, let's make it go from manufacturer straight to you. Let's cut out all these middlemen, cut out the retailer, cut out the middlemen, and pay those profits straight to you by building a social network. So that's what we do. And so it's a really, really powerful way. Friends of mine in the US said, hey, you know what, to to have a conversation with some of these big chain franchises. One of them, I've got a couple of examples actually from hamburger distributions, not McDonald's, but probably the second largest one, which is called something different over in the US than it is in Australia. But to have a conversation with those guys cost you $30,000. They call it an establishment fee. That's really to sit down at the table and talk. It's $30,000. To buy one of those franchises, you're looking north of $300,000. And then it's an owner-operator business. That means you've got to be changed to your business, okay? Because you want to make sure that all the teenagers that you've employed show up for work, and if they don't, someone's got to do it, and it's most likely going to be you. So it's an owner-occupied thing. So it's cost you $30,000 to sit down and have a talk, $300,000 to get established in the business, plus, because there's no guarantees in business, they want you to have an extra $300 in working capital just on the side, just in case you run into some hard times. Interesting, isn't it? You know, when I actually run this business model that I'm showing you to entrepreneurs, when they see how simple this is and the level of investment compared to, say, a $600,000 investment to $1 million investment for, you know, one particular hamburger franchise, you know, it's just the dumbest thing. It's just like, that's just so simple. I don't even need to think about that. That just makes total sense because they think differently. It's like, really, most of the time, if they're looking at making a 6 or 7 figure income, they've got to slap down usually 6 or 7 figures, and they've got to be in business for 2 to 3 years before they make any profit at all. And that's the deal. You know, one of my friends in the US interviewed one of these fast food chains, and it was like 2.5 years was the average time it took for anyone to turn a profit. Isn't that interesting? So we want to show you a smarter way, which has more leverage, which has less risk. And you know what? If we got you into a bigger franchise, for example, you would probably succeed because you probably have 600,000 reasons to succeed. Your house would be on the line. You know, your whole financial future is risked and on the line. So there'd be no question that you'd be absolutely committed, right? But there's a better way. There's an easier way. There's a way that doesn't require you to go all in with everything you've ever worked for and put that all on the line. There's a much easier way to do that. And here's what I want to tell you. This business, actually I did some research before getting on this call tonight, just quickly. The franchising industry, which I just talked about, is a $195 billion industry. But our industry, which is the network marketing profession, is very close. It's like a $167 billion industry. To give you a bit of an idea, that was the total sales for 2012. The NFL is a $9.5 billion industry. Music industry, $16.5 billion. Video gaming, everyone, you know, you ask kids today what they want to do. It's like, I want to be a video gamer. I want to design games. That whole industry is $100 billion short of what we do. Even Hollywood is just an $80 billion industry. We're like twice as big as that. It's a big deal that we do here, okay? So it's not just a backyard thing. This is a legitimate business. And every week, 175,000 people get started in this profession. Isn't that cool? It's a growing thing. And, you know, it used to be like 25 years ago, gee, I don't know about those sort of things, but man, this is mainstream now. We don't even shy away from calling it network marketing because so many people are doing something, and for various reasons that we'll cover in just a sec. The cool thing is that it's not going to cost you the sort of figures that I talked about. Low startup, you know, a lot of these businesses are under $1,000 to get started. There's consumable product, and what I mean by that, and this was an interview that Donald Trump gave, and I don't know what your thoughts are about him running for president or not, but as a businessman, you've got to give that guy some respect, okay? He was asked on, I think it was late night TV, you know, what happened if you lost it, or what would you do? He said, I'd find a network marketing company, something that has a consumable product, which means it's needed every day. It's, you know, it's not just buying a house, because how many times do you buy a house? Well, you just buy one for every house that you live in at a time, right? It's not a consumable product. But how many times do you buy milk? You buy milk every day. That's a consumable product. How many times do you buy the newspaper? A lot of people buy that every day. That's a consumable product. How many times do you buy food? Every day, right? So that's a consumable product. So the cool thing about this type of business is you can do the job once, like Donald Trump was suggesting. Again, an advocate for our profession, actually owns and invests in this profession, owns his own company in this profession too, right? And so does Richard Branson, if you've ever heard of that guy. Actually seeing him next month in Brisbane. Cool guy, entrepreneur, owns one of his company, as does Warren Buffett, the most successful investor in the world, okay, from Berkshire Hathaway. And the reasons why is all of this. These are the fundamentals that they look at. Low startup cost, consumable product, backed by something special, something unique, like a patented technology. Leverage long-term income, unlimited income potential. How cool is that? Part-time or full-time schedule. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom. Man, I don't even know how you do that, but there's space for you. We've seen single moms do very well in this profession. I don't know how they would go running a multi-million-dollar franchise as a single mom. That would be tough because most of them wouldn't be able to enter that space. But this gives them the same or better income, right, at a fraction of the investment. So potential, man, there's some amazing tax savings and benefits here. And I can't give you any financial advice right now. I don't work as an accountant or financial advisor anymore, but the tax advantages are huge. Working from home is awesome. You know, my little boy was home from school the last 2 days, and I've been able to be productive here and also be available for him just to make sure he's okay and and I'm on the phone, and it's just fun, man. You could do that too. And social entrepreneurship, that's making a difference. We'll cover that in just a sec. Younger people are looking at this hugely because they don't want to spend the next 40 years of their life sucking up and climbing the corporate ladder. It's vicious out there. It's not a goal that they have. 60% of people who are millennials are saying, you know, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for a boss. Right? So this is awesome for young people. If you're a young person on the phone today or on the webinar today, meaning if you're less than 40, I just missed that, but if you're less than 40, then listen up, because most of these people, 60% of them, say they're going to leave their job within the next 2 years. Here's why: they want more freedom, unlimited income, and they want to be able to be in control of what they do. That's why this model is so attractive to younger people. Let's have a look at people who are more mature, baby boomers, prime candidates. Here's a couple of reasons: low barrier to entry, 3 to 5 year plan to attain freedom and wealth. Question is, why do they need to do that? Well, something called the GFC, you might have heard of it, might have felt it, might have had your whole nest egg, the whole rug pulled from under your feet, and so you don't want to, you know, spend your twilight years in the line of a soup kitchen, okay? So you've got to do something, and it's difficult, man. If you're one of those guys who's sort of getting on in life, it's like, man, it's hard to even get employed out there. It's competitive out there. 300 people going for a job. This is why this is attractive. All right. So, and this is why it helps satisfy needs of significance and connection, to be able to grow and learn and to leave a legacy. Half of all baby boomers are interested in starting a business. That's half of all baby boomers. It's like 76 million people. The average 55-year-old, get this is sad, guys, and this is what we can be a part of correcting this figure. The average 50-year-old is estimated to have less than $50,000 in retirement savings. How long would that last you? Most of you are thinking, a year? If we script and save 50 grand might help us for a year. That's a scary, confronting reality, but this is the facts. This is why baby boomers are prime candidates, right? And young people too, parents too, wanting to do the things that I get to do, not wanting to miss out, not wanting to connect. You know, the Industrial Revolution was great, and the women's rights revolution was awesome, until a lot of mums were disconnected from their kids and disconnected from their family, chasing a career. A lot of mums now, despite having equality, I'm all for that, right? I just think, gosh, mums who work, it's just got my utmost respect. I love that, and I'm all for what people want. If they want to do that, great. If they want to be at home, I want to show them a way to be able to do that too, and still contribute financially, still do life on their terms. That's what this call's all about, right? So here's what we've done: is we've positioned ourselves in the perfect storm of 3 megatrends, where we've got the wellness industry, okay, which is fat loss, anti-aging, and natural health solutions. We've got a business model. There's people who want to get established in business and from home, right? And the third one is social entrepreneurship, which means, you know, making money while making a difference, okay? So these 3 things have come together to make the perfect storm of what we do, which is a company called Manatech. We've been in business for the last 22 years or so, operating in 24 different companies. We're publicly listed on the NASDAQ. You know, I heard someone saying, well, is this a scam? It's like, you know what? Companies that are scams are not publicly traded companies, and they're not companies that have been around for 22 years. It doesn't happen like that. They're kind of here today, gone tomorrow companies, right? Or, you know, maybe around for a year tops, but not like 22 years, okay? We've got 100 patents in our major global markets, and we've invested over $20 million in research and development. We're a research company. Okay, cool. So that's a bit of an overview of our company and the 24 countries. The revolution is that we have the patents in 37 countries. We're a science company. We've got everything that we've said is supported and underpinned with human clinical studies. You know, we've got actually 17, the most expensive clinical studies you can arrange, especially the double-blind placebo-controlled studies, which is the gold standard of scientific research. We have $196 million earners. I'm one of them, several people in my team. Matter of fact, we just had 2 more join our ranks in the Australasian region, actually here in Australia just a couple months back, and so we celebrated them down in Sydney. It was an awesome night. And so yeah, and the thing is, with our giving arm, we've given 20 million servings of our supplement to kids in need. Our mission, which is Mission 5 Million, aims to link 5 million customers with 5 million consumers. Because right now, every year, 5 million children die needlessly of malnutrition, and we want to be the only company in history that single-handedly tackles that problem. No other company in history has ever attempted it. We want to do it in a very simple way. So this is what we mean by being part of something that makes a difference, something that's significant, something that matters, and something that has real authenticity. This is not just about being successful, but this is about being significant. So I hope you get that, and I hope that resonates with you, because there's something that you can leave this call with and feel proud of, like, hey, look, if all that happens, you just become a customer, man, you make a difference to a child. We link 1 for 1, one customer with 1 child. It's an awesome thing. So we're going to ask you to help us with that mission at the end of this call tonight. And if all you do is be a customer, that's awesome. It's great. If you want to pursue the career path, that's awesome. That's great too. You'll help more children, and we'll pay you to do it. It's a cool deal. So here's a little bit more. Mannatech, you know, has been around for such a long time, but get this. I love this quote. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. And third, it's accepted as being self-evident. Now, I love that, because Mannatech has certainly had their share of hurdles and detours. Man, we were ridiculed. People said that our science was phony science, but we answered every one of those critics with hard-hitting science to prove it. And then we came up with an ironclad 100% 90-day money-back guarantee, which is the first in history. All right, so you can send back the empty bottles because we know it works, because it's underpinned with world-class science. So it's really cool. But man, we absolutely have been through the ringer in the early stages of our growth. But now, man, it's clear sailing now, and I love it. It's good to be part of it, and I'm glad we're out of it, by the way. But, you know, those testing times that all businesses go through sort of make us to where we are. We all need those for the people we become in the process. And so where we become in the process occupies 4 huge areas in the wellness space. One is this massive area called the weight management. It's a $583 billion market. Okay, we've got skincare and aging, anti-aging. That product line too. That market is a $39 billion market. Sports and performance, $6.7 billion, and nutrition and integrative health, $82 billion. So it's a massive market. As a matter of fact, you know, I want you to hear from some of the people who have got some results from our products. Sandra, could I maybe ask you to maybe jump on the call and just share your story with us?
Sure can, Simon. Hi, everyone. Yeah, for me, these products have made a huge difference. I am a baby boomer, and for my age, you know, like, it was really difficult for me to try and get my weight down. I was going to the gym, I was doing all the things that I thought were the right thing to do, I was eating correctly. But year after year, the last, you know, like 10 years of being putting a kilo on, it was just a real battle. I started on the products, and it was just a turnaround for me. You know, like, I started to release fat, the Osaline, which is our main product in our fat loss. As you can see, there's a weight management there sitting on the screen. You can see that. So I was into the weight loss products, and released 13 kilos in my first year, and I haven't put it back on. So it's a fantastic product. Thanks, Simon.
Wow, that's amazing. What a great result. So good. And you kept that off. That's fantastic.
Kept it off.
Hey, I appreciate you sharing that. Hey, Annette, are you there on the call with us tonight?
Yep, I'm here, Simon.
I would love to hear your story if you could share. That would be cool.
I'd love to share it. Look, I love Osaline. 4 years ago is when I first found Osaline. I struggled with my weight on and off since I was a child. When I was 16 years old, I used to wear size 16 ladies' clothes, so that shows you I was a big girl. I struggled with it on and off all my life. 4 years ago, I found this product. In 9 months, in 4 months, I lost 9 kilos and went from a size 12 to 14 to about an 8'10". I'm still an 8'10". You know, I love it.
That is so cool. Thanks so much for sharing with us. I appreciate that. And your story is a powerful story, and thank you to Sandra. Cool. So I'm going to move right ahead. Okay. So the story of discovery. Here's our flagship technology. In 1996, we developed a new class of patent blending nutrients called glyconutrients. And that's the foundation of our flagship product called Ambritose. Okay, now this is what we call glyconutrients, which is also referred to as glycans, and they're key for proper communication among our cells. You can see here this is like your immune cell over here, and this is like a normal cell of the body. Or maybe it might be a disease cell. I don't know, but let's suggest that it's a normal cell of the body for now. And the sort of communication that happens here, right on the cell surfaces, conversations like nourish me, repair me, destroy me, regulate me, and protect me. And so, yeah, or see me, right? Recognize me. That's a big thing too. And so that's the sort of things that our products do. And this is really the basis. And you know, there was a guy called Gunther Blobel who won a Nobel Prize for this technology way back when. I think it was actually in the late 80s, where he had a look at, you know, these protein strands. And by the way, the protein strands, where's my little arrow? Here's the protein strands here. But at the time, it was before the invention of the electron microscope. And so Nobel Prize for that technology, and then later our scientists came and saw, see where my little mouse is hovering? They found these little glycans here, these little sugar formations that help the communication process from cell to cells. It's a fascinating and life-changing technology. And our products don't heal or treat any disease or anything like that. But boy, oh boy, when you have this communication happening properly, your body can heal itself and defend itself, right? And so, yeah, it's the body that heals itself. We're fearfully and wonderfully made with the ability to repair ourselves once we've got the correct building blocks to be able to do this. So that's why this technology is so exciting and world-changing. Okay, here's one of the things we can say. Scientific value, I just told you what we can't say. We can't make any claims that our products heal or treat any disease or mitigate any disease. I can't say that they're a replacement for doctor's care, but here's some of the stuff we can say. It improves brain function. Recently in Australia here from Flinders University, there was a double-blind placebo-controlled study that demonstrated it improves brain function. I'm sure that you can probably think of at least one person in your life that could do with some improved brain function, all right, maybe some improved memory, that they take the rubbish bins out at night, I don't know, on the weekly basis, maybe some improved concentrations or attentiveness. Here's a cool one here. These are our allowed claims. Improves mood. I'm sure there might be at least one person in your life that you know of who could do with an improved mood. Enhances our body's ability to respond to bacterial vaccines, all right? That's a cool thing, all right? You know, one of the symptoms of getting the flu shot, if you're up for that sort of thing, if you do the flu shot, often one of the side effects of the flu shot is you get the flu. So wouldn't it be cool if you were able to enhance your body's ability to respond to bacterial vaccines? That'd be cool. Support cellular communication like we showed on the previous slide. And here's a cool one too. Supports digestive system function as well and decreases irritability. I'm sure there's probably one person in your life that you can think of, now don't point fingers and don't poke anyone who's next to you, who could do with a little bit of decreased irritability. Am I right? Okay. Okay, cool. Let me move forward. Here's the cool thing here. Now, we all know people who have got great genetics, and we also all know people who could probably store food in the wrinkles that they have, okay? But check this out. This same technology that we mentioned back here, we were able to put in a moisturizer cream, and this, if we just thought, if we could find a technology that could push this cream and push this technology back here into the skin matrix, we would have a world-changing product in the skincare industry. And so we found a way called microsphere technology, which is really, really small spheres. We're able to wrap that glyconutrient technology into these microspheres, push them into the skin matrix where they could repair and rejuvenate the skin matrix and do some serious dent repair. All right, so you can see here the before shot and the after. I mean, a picture's 1,000 words, and you can see fine lines, wrinkles. You know, what I hate about a lot of photos, not this one here, but, you know, you can see a lot of before and after shots, and you see, oh, the focus is weird, the lighting is weird. It's good to see consistency in a shot like this, where it's clearly an in-focus photo, and it looks like very similar circumstances. And you can see right here, you can get right into this after photo here and see, okay, that's in focus. I can see that definitely fine lines and wrinkles are gone. I got a friend of mine, actually James put this cream on his wife when our founder was out here, and we were just about to launch it in Australia. And she said, oh, I don't know. And he says, here, I've got some here before it's released. Let me just put some on. Let's just put some on you. And within 2 minutes, we saw wrinkles and fine lines. Boof, they just like bumped right out. But the long-term effects are even more spectacular than just the short-term. Wow. So that's a really cool product that we've got. Here's the thing we did in a double-blind crossover controlled study, a placebo-controlled study, is that we saw that people who were on the Osaline product actually burnt 3 times more fat. That's awesome. And like you heard from Sandra, beat the rebound effect, right? Kept the weight off. And so the Osaline product does some cool things. It promotes fat burning. It turns the fat switch off. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but this puts your body into fat burning mode. It's a natural, all natural product. It's a real food product that sends a signal to your brain that you're not hungry anymore. It keeps your muscle mass, which keeps your metabolism burning high, and it sets you in a fat burning mode. It's awesome. And it stops you from being hungry. It's just great. So it's a very simple delivery system. Just add it to your smoothies, right? Put a banana in there. What I do is I put like raw cacao, which is cocoa powder, and some stevia, which has got 0 calories as a natural organic sweetener. And man, I just add a dash of milk and some water and ice cubes, and it's a delicious chocolate milkshake. That's part of my secret to how I lost 14 kilos in 12 months. So it's a really, really cool product here. Those of you who are thinking, you know, summer's coming, maybe I need to do something, hit the gym. I don't like the idea of hitting the gym and sweating like a crazy thing, or spending the time, man, the time to get up before it's light in the dark and to go and do something that you hate. Man, this is the easiest way to get in the shape. And by the way, what's cool about the Osaline is you can have fun with it. You can have parties with it. You can even so you can lose weight, and you can even save money on your groceries. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's a really cool product. I love that. Okay, so it's easy to get started. You can just select a pack, open an account, establish an order that comes automatically every 4 weeks. And when you get on a 4-weekly cycle with our order, you get a 20% loyalty. It's kind of like rewards points, but it's like straight off the price. So, you know, in 5 weeks' time, in 5 months' time, you've got your order for free. That's kind of cool. You can try some of the other products. You can say, hey, you know, I've got like every 5th order is free. I've got $100 in my account. I'm going to try maybe some of the other product lines. Maybe I'll try the moisturizer. Maybe I'll try the youth rejuvenation cream. You know, it's just cool. And number 4 is connect with people that want to either. Do you know anyone who wants to improve their well-being? Do you know anyone who wants to lose weight? Do you know anyone who maybe wants to have more energy, or maybe increase their income, or maybe do something that actually makes a difference, maybe something they can feel really good about in terms of being authentic? That's a cool thing. It's very, very easy to get started. Okay, so the cool thing I love about this, and this has been true for me from day one with the team that we have, is that there is world-class support, world-class training. The cool thing is that something feels good about being in business for yourself. But the other cool thing is you're not in business by yourself, okay? There's people who care about you. There's a community. There's an app that we have that we'd love you to participate in. It just helps you build your business easily. We have training webinars that you can watch from the comfort of your home. Every week we run these. There's regional events that we have around the country all the time. And there's a bunch of, you know, keynote speakers. We've recently, you know, very soon we have a doctor touring all through Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, just in our local area here, and frequently does road shows in the US if you're tuning in from there. And we've got other associates that fly internationally. We've got a guy sort of touring Australia, Singapore, and New Zealand from South Africa, a young guy, you know, in his early 20s, sort of got started in this business, making just ridiculous income. He's sort of sharing his keys. So there's all these events, there's all this training, there's some tools that you have at your fingertips. So it's a turnkey system And you know the cool thing, when you hit a bump along the road, because you do, that's what happens when you're in business, and that's because you're in business, right? You know, Dun & Bradstreet did a survey not so long ago, and they said 90%, or was it actually 95% of all businesses, the number one problem is the owner, right? So you're going to have problems in your business because you're in it. I have problems in my business because I'm in it. But I've got access to great mentoring. You have access to great mentoring that can look at your business with a fresh set of eyes and probably identify some blind spots that you can't see because of their experience. And you know they're financially interested in you doing outrageously well, so they're going to give you everything they got, their very best. So it's cool being part of that team where you can leverage off that support. And guess what? That's free. That's cool, right? It's not, it doesn't cost you. You know, I charge out my hourly rate at $997 an hour to coach people in this profession. Not from Mannatech. If you're on my team, I give you that for free. But if you're in a different company, I charge. You know, I sell a course right now, which is a 7-week course. It costs you $1,000. But if you're a part of my team, I give you that for free. Okay, so it's cool. And I don't say that because I want you to join my course. Just to illustrate, when you become part of our family, we just give you this for free because we want you to succeed wildly if you'll let us. Okay, so 2 sources of income. This is how our business works. There's 2 real income streams. One is the active income bonuses, and that's really cool. That's like we analyzed a bunch of payment plans from our competitors, and most of them had this one, this long-term one. Like there was like, you get into business and you wouldn't earn any money. You'd come to trainings, you'd come to events, you'd take all the right activity, still not making any money. Can you see my arrow, my mouse moving along here? And so what our company did, we said, hey, let's build a bridge over here. Let's put money in people's pockets really, really fast so that we can build this bridge between the long-term bonuses here and active upfront bonuses so we can put people in profit as soon as possible. And they've done a couple of really cool things. Matter of fact, I'd love to hear from some people who have been with our company. Hey, Hank, are you on the call with us right now? Were you able to get on the call? I'm not sure if you're here or not.
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome, man. Share with us how
you got started.
Yeah, I can hear you great. Go ahead, man. Love to hear your story.
Look, not that much of a story, really. We're directors of a construction company down here in Melbourne in masonry industry.
Mm-hmm.
Employed 27 people, you know, at our sort of busiest. And one of the things that we had, it was really hard trying to find, you know, $50,000, $60,000 a week in payroll. And then when the GFC came, man, you know, 1 and 2 companies all within 5-year block of each other went into receivership. Well, you know what, man, that hurt. It hurt. And one day I came home, it was a raining day, we had guys on site, you know, still needing to be paid, couldn't do any work. I sat down and I thought, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm going to look at my computer and I'm going to play some games and not think about anything. Well, I went on Facebook and I saw this little thing there. Long story short, I clicked on the advertisement and James popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me the plan straight away and I signed up straight away. Now, when we made the decision to actually get started, our first month's check was $2,000.
Wow.
$2,000. And the second month's check was $3,000.
Yep.
So, you know, coming from a business that turned over, you know, some years, millions of dollars, and not seeing a huge reward for that, coming in to do hardly no work with no stress, small outlay, man, it's a winner.
Hank, I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you for sharing on the call. It's just perfect, and I love that. And you know, I know you're a business owner, but I think you're a straight shooter. You sound to me like a very down-to-earth person, a very down-to-earth bloke. And I've spoken to James about you too, and it's just like that's real, and I love that. Hey, Naomi, are you on the call with us tonight?
Hi, Simon. Yeah, I'm here. You know, prior
You introduced me. That's cool.
Prior to getting started in the home business, I was a stay-at-home mum, and you know I love to do that and be there for my family. I've done the whole career life in Sydney and also had my own business down there, but I didn't want that kind of lifestyle and stress again. We moved to Coffs Harbour, and I did love being my own boss though. Debt started to pile up and I felt like I wanted to do something for myself. You know, we were struggling. We were struggling to get by, paycheck to paycheck, just going under. It got to the point where, you know, one day I was at the register at Coles and I went to pay and we didn't have any money in the card, and I thought, gosh, I've really got to do something now. When I heard about this, I was really quite skeptical, I must say. And then I went through, I don't even know if I could actually do this, but, you know, the product sounded good and I thought I'd give them a go because I was quite unwell at the time. Well, you know, since getting started with Mannatech, it's been an incredible experience. 4 years, I've travelled to 8 different countries, 5-star holidays to Tahiti, Mauritius, Vietnam, Club Med China, USA twice, Mexico, to visit some of our orphanages, and going on a Pacific cruise in December with my family. Also had amazing 5-star weekends all over Australia, which included hot air ballooning over the Yarra Valley in February. Now that is an experience you really want to do. Finances, they're no longer an issue. We have plenty of money for extras and to do the things that I always wanted to do. You know, and we have financial security. My business is turning over close to $1 million. The great thing was that, you know, while I was changing my world and the world of my family, I was able to change their world at the same time, and my business is now nourishing close to 500 children.
Wow.
The business has changed our life, but also the products, and that's a whole other story which I can't go into now. But, you know, I'm living my dreams. I have this amazing freedom and amazing lifestyle. I work around my family. That little decision I made 4 years ago totally changed my life, and I hope that you look at this with an open mind too. Thanks, Simon.
That's awesome, Naomi. I appreciate that, and it's just like, I actually started to feel a bit jealous. You traveled to, gosh, nearly as many places as I have, and it's just been such a fun time, and I love seeing other people succeed, and you're one of the great leaders in our team as an up-and-coming leader, and you've got such a great team of awesome people that you're working with, and it's great to be able to choose who you work with. So let me just breeze through some of these things. You may not remember these figures, and there's no exam at the end, so it's okay, but I just want to show you a little bit how to do that, how to do, you know, $2,000 in your first month like Hank did, and then $3,000 in your second month. That's pretty cool, hey? So here's what happens. Let's say, I mean, gosh, you can get started in our company. If all you did was get started to take advantage of the products, you could get started for $12. But let's assume, just for a moment, let's just pretend you were looking at the, looking at the career path, okay, just for a second. And so the career path is $598. Can you imagine that you could be in a position where your first month like Hank, you could get started and it's just like $598 and then you make $2,000. Imagine that. And then your second month you make $3,000. But let's just have a look at this. And I've got guys in my team who have done what I'm about to show you in their first week. Some in about 5 days. I've had people in my team in the US do this in about 5 days. But you know, there are people who take a month and some people take 2 months to do. It's not a race, but I just want to show you the income. So let's say you got established at the business pack at $598 and you found 4 people, let's say together, you and I, let's say if we were working together, you and I or the person who invited you on this call, this webinar, worked with you, and together you found 4 people who wanted to do the same. You would earn and generate an extra $800 approximately in income. How cool is that? So already, if it's your first month that you do this or your first week, you're already in profit. How cool is that? Most businesses take you 2 years to be in profit, all right? So if you want to do that a few more times, then you're going to be like Hank's story, okay? You'll be able to generate that $2,000 a year by, you know, taking a little bit more than twice that activity, twice that action, and establishing 8 to 10 people, okay? Not rocket science here, but you follow that, right? Let me just see a show of hands if you follow that. I just want to make sure that I'm not going too quick. And again, thank you for putting up your hands. I appreciate that. You don't need to remember this. We can go over this again. It's cool. It took me, gosh, maybe 3 months to understand this. And so when you get a level of regional director, and you might have, you know, at this income right here, they call you a regional director because you've got a bunch of volume going through your business. You actually have 1,600 points. Not that you need to remember that. But your business volume is 1,500, and
you're going to be generating income, annual income of like close to $2 to $5 grand a year. How cool is that? And that's cool. You know, I told you the bankruptcies that would be avoided by just $300 a month, and all of a sudden, that's pretty close, right? That's very close. And what would you need in terms of an asset? What would you need invested at 5%? By the way, how did your super fund do last year? What would you need invested at, say, a conservative figure at 5%? 5% at a $5,000 nest egg, at 5%, you would need to have $91,000 invested to generate $5 grand a year. That's a big deal, okay? So here's the thing, the big deal is in the little deal. And so your regional director is significant income. Grow your team to, you know, roughly 60 people. Guess what? 60 kids are going to get fed. But here's the cool thing. You're going to generate an extra annual income of between $10,000 and $18,000 a year. How many people here could do with an extra 10 to 18 grand a year? That's kind of cool. That's starting to get to some life-changing income. And to generate that sort of income, let's say to generate $12,000 at 5%, you would need nearly $250,000 invested at 5%, all right, to generate a $12,000 annual income. It's pretty significant, right? This is getting started. It's just like, oh, but how could I get 60 people started? Well, this is about you just getting a couple of people established and then using the system to help those people get a couple of people established, right? It's pretty simple, and it has to be simple for someone like me to do this, all right? So let's say your business becomes executive director. How do you become executive director? Well, you help a few people, let's say 3 or 4 people, get to national director. How do you become a national director? You help a few people go regional director, okay? It's really, really simple. I mean, how do you go regional director? You just help a few people do this, okay? This is how simple this is, right? So pretty soon your business, it took us months to get here, where we had, 200 kids fed because we had 200 people in our business. 9 months, okay? And again, it's not a race. It can take you, 6 to 12 months. Who cares if it takes you 2 years? It doesn't matter, because at 48 grand a year, at 5%, you need to have nearly $1 million invested as an asset to generate that sort of extra income. So who cares if it takes you 2 years to get to this level? It's not a race. It's $1 million asset that you're developing, and it's worth it. You understand that, right? Cool. Love it. Presidential income, here's where things start to get cool. And, when we started earning $180,000 a year from Manatech, I had a conversation with Woody, with the gentleman who got me started, James Hannon. He's part of the Millionaires Club as well. And I was doing nearly 200 grand a year, $180,000 a year, but I still had my full-time job. That was giving me 70 grand a year, but I had a conversation. It's like, hey man, maybe I need to go full-time. And instead of working full-time on my finances and part-time on my future, I got the privilege to work full-time on my future because we got to this stage here. This rank here, presidential director, you got 60,000 volume, and that's just, all that is just US dollars in turnover. Just don't know what that means, okay? And what it means you've got is like 600 people in your team. 600 children are being fed. It gives you an average of $70,000 to $110,000. At 100 grand income and 5% return, you need $2 million invested. I'm not even going to ask a show of hands who's got $2 million invested right now to generate a residual passive income, whether you go to work or not. And I've used my presidential director income to take 2 years off when my dad had cancer. I used my presidential income to launch another company as a finance broker, and after about 7 years in this company, and it funded that business, so it was cool. And then things happened in the mortgage industry, and it's like I was able to get back out of that, get back into Manatech again, but my income didn't get affected at all because it's passive income. I could just manage it without having to work like crazy. I mean, there's hard work when you get started, right? It's just like an airplane taking off, taxiing down the runway. To get liftoff, it's full steam ahead. There's hard work involved, and there's no question at all. But when you get to cruising altitude, you can back it off a little bit, and you can just start doing things on your terms. So it's really, really cool. Again, that's there for everybody. Let's say you help those first 4 people way back here. Let's say you help these guys make a 6-figure income. Guess what? They call you a platinum presidential director, earn anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. And so this is the average income. So it's anywhere from, platinum presidential. So presidential is like 110 grand. Platinum's up around the $5,000 mark plus annual income. That's pretty cool. That's really a game changer. You can absolutely live life on your terms. Who here would like to earn an extra $500,000 a year? You know what? If I was on the webinar for my first time, I don't think I'd be putting my hand up, because I didn't believe someone like me would even make 100 grand from this business. I didn't see it, and I didn't believe it. Right? I needed to believe a little bit more. But when I got to that $1,000 mark, $1,000 a month mark, my whole life changed. I started to believe and reach for a little bit more. So yeah, which option best suits you? If you want to really champion this cause with children and get paid handsomely to do that, with unlimited income potential, access to incredible bonuses and packs, and you never have to purchase this pack again. This is a one-time thing, so it's not an annual thing, it's not a monthly thing, it's just a once-off $598. That's you in business, right? That's the whole turnkey paint-by-number system with all the support, all the training. It's like, I reckon this is easily worth 20 grand, but the company lets you have it for $590. So if that's you, awesome, welcome aboard. And just go to the person and just say, yep, I mean, if you just say, look, this is great, look, I need these products, but I'm just wanting to be a customer. Hey, that's awesome. And why it's awesome is because you're taking charge of your health. Because it doesn't matter how much money you've got, if you don't have the health to enjoy it, it's game over. And what's awesome about that is you're taking charge of your health and you're helping a child take charge of their health. It's great. I love what we get to do. So there's some really cool bonuses, really cool stuff with our team that we let you have for free just to try it, road test it for a month. All right, so the person who got you on this call will give you that as a 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. You get one-on-one coaching, access to all the training. It's really, really cool. All right, and so much more than just a business, but because this is actually about joining a movement, joining a revolution, which is making a difference to kids. Here's one example. This lady, Aura, says thank you. Here's her life before. She stopped going to school. Apart from her hair falling out, and apart from her, she weighed the average weight of a 5-year-old. The problem is she was 10 years old, and she stopped going to school. You know why? She couldn't learn. It was impossible for her brain to function correctly because she was so malnourished. No point in her going to school. She couldn't retain anything, couldn't learn anything. Put on these products. Look at this is like a year later. Just incredible difference. And someone like you did this to a child that you'll never ever meet. This is beyond success. This is significant. And so if you're just a $12 customer, if all you do is that, someone like you has been a part of a process like this. And that's awesome. So we say to you, welcome and thank you. And the kids around the world that have received the 20 million servings that we did just in 2014, they also say thank you. So it's cool. You're just one decision away from changing your life and your world and the world. Here's a quote that I love from Richard Branson, because some of you might not really understand this so far, and it's okay. Some of you have probably been taking notes and maybe writing down a lot of questions, or some of you are just not sure. Check out what Richard Branson says. Hey, listen, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes and then learn how to do it later. I couldn't think of a better way to close this conversation off with you. Just say yes. Get started. Why not? Hey, why not be at the $598 pack and give yourself the best chance to succeed? Give yourself access to every single income stream that the company offers. So apart from that, guys, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this webinar. It looks like one of my slides is gone, but that's okay. And I really appreciate you actually for being on this webinar and joining with us today. Get back to the person who's invited you. Let them know if you're the $12 person or if you're the person who really wants to pursue our career path, change your world and the world at the same time. God bless you. Looking forward to welcoming you as part of the family. Thanks, guys, and good night.